This case invoked the subject of procedure, particularly in personal injury actions. This case invoked two principles: one-way cost shifting and non-set-off. Court firstly held that the principle of one-way cost shifting means that a person who sustains a personal injury cannot be billed more in legal expenses than the value of their damages. Secondly, the court further held that under the non-set-off principle, if one party negligently causes another party damages, then these damages must be paid, and the expenses owed from the action cannot be deducted from the damages bill. Expenses owed must be pursued by debt collection processes in the ordinary manner in the first place without set-off being done initially. The material facts of this case were: Ho caused injuries to Adelekun in a road traffic accident. Ho admitted liability and made an offer of £30,000 in damages to Adelekun, and Adelekun accepted this offer. However, they then had a lengthy debate on what scale the expenses of the action should be calculated on, with Ho arguing for fast-track expenses, and Adelekun arguing for ordinary expenses. Adelekun and Ho therefore calculated very different figures for the legal expenses bill. After a lot of court debates and appeals, Adelekun eventually lost the expenses debate. This meant Adelekun actually ended up owing Ho a legal bill of more than £50,000 in expenses, which effectively meant that Adelekun's full damages were wiped out and she possibly owed Ho £20,000 instead. This led to 2 points of law being raised. 1. Should Adelekun have to pay the full legal expenses of £50,000 to Ho? 2. Does Ho not have to pay Adelekun any damages at all because these are wiped out by the expenses Adelekun owes? The court held that due to the one-way cost shifting principle, the most legal expenses Adelekun could have to pay Ho were £30,000. Due to this principle, someone cannot sustain an injury due to someone else's negligence, and then end up owing money to the other person due to court costs. If someone is injured due to the negligence of someone else, the worst that will happen to them is that they walk away from court with nothing, but they will not walk away from court in debt with £20,000 legal expenses. This does mean that people who have sustained personal injuries may end up essentially having a free bet arguing some points of law over it. In terms of the second point, the court affirmed that the non-set-off principle applied. The court stated therefore that Ho had to pay the £30,000 to Adelekun. After this, Ho could then send Adelekun the £30,000 expenses bill. It may eventually be that they could be set off against each other, but this could not be done in the first place. Adelekun had to get sent her cheque for £30,000, and then expenses would be taken further from there. In short, for both of these points, the court affirmed that the personal injury procedural rules do fall more in favor of people who have sustained injuries due to the negligence of someone else, and could lead to some anomalous results in some exceptional circumstances, but these nonetheless are how the rules must be interpreted, and they still provide the best compromise that those involved in the process have been able to come up with.